like to welcome you to the MWSBE Technical Assistance Training for Contractors. My name is Carolyn Seals. I will be your presenter for today. Our division contact information, our Deputy Director is Kanisha Longden, and Crystal Boyce is our Compliance Manager. The MWSBE team members consist of myself, Carolyn Seals, John McGee, and Nicole Joseph. Today we will be discussing MWSBE Policy Overview, Certification Benefits, Commonly Used MWSBE Terms, B2G Noun LCP Tracker, Contract Agreements, Compliant Form Packet, Deviation Requests, Contractor Performance, and Closeout Evaluation. Benefits of MWSBE Certification. You have an advantage in procurement selection process. Your company's name will be on the website for MWSBE Online Directory. You have an opportunity to bid on gold-oriented contracts. You're covered over the City Ordinance, Chapter 15. And also, you can use your certification with other Texas certification agencies. MWSBE Policy Overview. It is the policy of the City of Houston to strengthen minority women-owned small business enterprises, as we call them MWSBEs, participating during all phases of contracts. The objective is to ensure local firms are afforded equal opportunities that promote utilization and eliminate discrimination. HCC contracts must comply with federal procurement regulations, which mandates contracts to include all necessary affirmative steps to ensure minority women small business enterprises are utilized to the maximum capacity. As a result, HCDD contracts must adhere to local federal requirements as it relates to MWSBEs. Some of our commonly used terms will be general contractor or prime contractor. This is the main contractor working on the projects. Subcontractor is a contractor that's hired under the prime contractor to perform a scope of work. A supplier supplies for the project. Good faith efforts or steps taken to demonstrate efforts to meet MWSBE goal requirements. MWSBE, as we mentioned, is a minority, women-owned small business enterprise. Gold-oriented project is a competitively bid project with MWSBE goal requirements. SOW stands for start of work, and TOW stands for termination of work. Post-award compliance requirements. After the prime contractor is awarded a project on a gold-oriented project, compliance can be achieved by one of two things: either meeting the goal requirements, which we expect everyone to meet the goal requirements and also exceed the goal requirements. And two is to demonstrate an acceptable good faith efforts. If you need to understand what good faith efforts are, please visit our website, City of Houston, OBO, docs and forms, and review the good faith efforts. Only firms certified through the City of Houston Office of Business Opportunity Participation can be accredited towards participation goal. For more information regarding that, please make sure that you visit our website. I am looking at the bottom of the screen, and it shows that MBE and WBE goals are separate and must be met individually. So, as an example, if the overall goal is 34%, 24% is allotted as an MBE and 10% for WBE. We expect you to reach 24% for the MBE and also the 10% for the WBE. Your goals are separate. We also have good news for the MWBE contractors, prime contractors that are interested in bidding as a prime. You can self-perform up to 50% of the scope of work on the project and receive gold credit. LCP Tracker is the compliance program used to house all compliance documents. Following a pre-construction meeting, your assigned contract administrator will create the project profile and assign the prime contractor as a prime approval in LCP Tracker. All information needed to enter the subcontractors can be found on the compliance packet cover sheet. Each contractor must be assigned to the project before documents can be uploaded in LCP Tracker. This is a screenshot of what it would look like when you're going to add or perhaps edit the subcontractors in LCP Tracker. As I said, the prime contractor is responsible for adding all contractors into LCP Tracker. You will have the opportunity, if the contractor is already in the system, to edit in this screen or to add the information, as we said, that's in the cover sheet and for this program, so they will be added into your project. The prime contractor must add subcontractors to the project. First, you use your login credentials. You select the Setup tab, click Add Edit Contractors. Make sure you enter all pertinent information for subcontractors shown on the cover sheet assigned the assigned contractor to the project, and select Save. You now can upload compliance documents for that subcontractor in LCP Tracker. Steps to upload documents. Please, before you upload documents, we advise you to review all documents before uploading. We expect the prime contractor to review the documents and to upload the documents themselves into LCP Tracker to avoid many mistakes of locations and the forms not being completed. You'll have the document available on your computer, saved in a file or on your desktop. You'll go to Setup and select Add Edit Document. Then you enter the required fields. Then you'll upload the document under the appropriate file name. This is a screenshot of what it looks like. You'll go to eDocuments, and then below it says Upload Documents. So when you press Upload Documents, it gives you the opportunity to pick the project. And then when you pick the project, you'll be able to pick the subcontractor that you're willing to upload the documents for. This is an example. You have the project name and the contractor that you're going to upload the documents for. And you please make sure that you select the correct document type before you upload. And you upload the document and you press Save. MWSBE monitors the following document locations: contractor verification, which we call them annual documents, your MWSBE UPs, and the MWSBE schedule, shared document forms, and subcontract agreements. Please ensure the documents are uploaded in the correct location or they will be rejected in LCP Tracker. As you see, for the contractor verification, we look for the request of clearance form with the SAMS result attached, the debarred vendor list, and also the conflict of interest form. Also, as an MWSBE compliance administrator, we look for you to upload on a monthly basis the MWSBE utilization plan. Only the prime contractor will upload the utilization schedule. We also look in shared compliance forms. We look for the cover sheet, the start of work notice, the termination of work, and for subcontract agreements, you can upload the subcontract agreement, a purchase order, consultants agreements, change orders, and the mediation clause must be attached. I advise you to make a copy of this sheet. Make sure you put it on the side of your computer when uploading the documents in LCP Tracker. It will help with a lot of mistakes. The description guide is an awesome tool also used when naming your documents. This will help us identify the documents immediately, make a copy, and keep for your records. The description guide for single-family homes are required on all addresses to be added to the form. All addresses must be added to the forms, excluding the contractor verification forms, which are uploaded annually for the entire project. As you see, the MWSBE utilization plan, for every address, you must submit a form. And also, For your shared compliance forms, your shared compliance form must have separate addresses, and also for your subcontracts must have a contract separate. They cannot be combined as one. They must all have different addresses. After the project is awarded, a profile is set up in B2G Now for the prime contractors. Payments to the primes are made, and all subcontractors on the project will be monitored in B2G Now. Only the assigned MWSBE administrator will be able to add contractors into B2G Now. Within 5 days of payment, the prime must make payment to subcontractors working on the project. The subcontractors must confirm payments entered by the prime. This is a screenshot of the automated process in B2G Now. The payment is made to the prime contractor. The prime contractor is notified of the payment. The prime contractor enters payment for the subs. The subcontractors are now notified by email. The subcontractor must go into B2G Now, confirm or reject payments, and the compliance audit is complete. If the subcontractor rejects a payment, the subcontractor and the prime are notified, and we expect the prime contractor and the subcontractor to work things out before we are notified regarding the discrepancies. Access to contracts in B2G Now. You log into B2G Now with your credentials. You go to the dashboard, you click Contract. The list of all active projects will appear, and you click on the project that you want to view. The prime contractor can enter payments per subcontractor individually if needed, or all payments can be entered at once for each applicable contractor as viewed on the screen. I advise the prime contractor to attach payment documents for proof of payment. The prime contractor in this screen has paid the subcontractor $5,000. This is the screen that the subcontractor will see. They will go and they will enter their credentials, and they will go into B2G Now, and they will click on payments. So when they see this screen here, you have the option to press correct and save, or press incorrect, and then it will ask you, your reasons on why you have a discrepancy, and you press save, and the prime contractor will be notified. Now we're going to go through compliance forms packets. The compliance packet is utilized by prime contractors and all certified and non-certified firms working on the project. We have our annual documents, which are the contractor clearance form, your SAMS verification, your conflict of interest, and your debarred vendors list. Also, we have the monthly upload. The only form that is uploaded on a monthly basis is your MWSBE monthly utilization plan. Then you have your recurring documents, which is your compliance cover sheet, your start of work, your termination of work, your contracts, and your contracts. The utilization schedule is the only form that will be filled out by the prime contractor. This gives us a forecast on when the certified contractors will start on a project. This allows the contract administrator to monitor monies being allocated monthly. This form must be submitted when submitting a deviation request, which I cover later on in this presentation. We have the utilization plan schedule for construction. Make sure you select the correct form. We have one for construction, professional services, and also for purchasing. The cover sheet is what I call the Bible of the documents in the compliance packet. The required information for each contractor is covered on this form. Make sure that all fields are completed before uploading an LCP tracker. This is a screenshot of what is acceptable and unacceptable. What is acceptable is all the fields are filled out, and there's nothing written up under the blue area that's mandatory for us to write if we need to. And what's unacceptable is not having the project number, who you have the contract with and all the pertinent information needed to add the contractor into LCP Tracker. The contractor, once the contractor has the contract and also the cover sheet, you can upload it in the LCP Tracker, and that's when we will add the subcontractor into B2G Now. The clearance form must be completed and submitted in LCP Tracker along with the SAMS results attached. The form must have the same year with the SAMS result was conducted, or it will be rejected. So this form is very simple to fill out, and we use this form so that we can monitor the company name, the principals, and the EIN number when it comes to your SAMS results. SAMS verification. This is to verify eligibility of contractor to work on a federally funded project. Each search must be done separately. You must search by the full company name, principal owner or owners, and the employer identification number through www.sam.gov. Search results and the request a clearance form must be uploaded in LCP Tracker for all contractors and suppliers that are working on the project. No contract should be executed with the prime contractor until you have done a SAMS verification on the subcontractors. The site now requires the creation of an account to conduct searches. The person conducting the search must be logged in order for you to be able to retrieve the information. Next, we will go on how to retrieve the SAMS verification. You go to www.sam.gov and you click in the sign in button at the top right corner. Sign in, and first, as I said, you need to create an account. Before you sign in, you navigate to the header menu of any page and select search. How to retrieve the SAMS verification? From the search page, navigate to the left sidebar, select plus icon to the right, and select domain. Select entity information and click all entity information. You also check any words box. Enter the applicable information. As I said, you will do this separately. You will put in the company's name, and then you will do your search by company name. Once you have uploaded that document, you save the first 4 pages, and then you do your EIN number and also your principal names. If you have more than one principal name, you must conduct a search for each principal's name. You print the first 3 pages of the search exclusion matches to ensure that the contractor does not have an exact match. If it was an exact match, it would probably show up on the first page, but we expect to at least get 3 pages attached to the clearance form. You will upload all results, and you will attach to the contractor's clearance form as one document, and then you will upload it into LCP Tracker. Next form that you will need to upload is your DBAR vendors list. Your DBAR vendors list and your SAMS and clearance forms. We only expect for you to upload these documents on an annual basis. How to retrieve the DBAR vendor list? You must go to the comptrollerstexas.gov/purchasing. And then you scroll down to the procurement resources and click search for CMBL/HUB vendors. Click on the DBAR vendors list on the left-hand side. The DBAR vendors list will appear on the screen. You press Control P for print. And when you press Control P, the date and the website should appear at the top of the form or at the bottom of your form. And this is what's acceptable on your right-hand side. This is what it should look like. You can utilize this same form for all of your contractors if they are starting work around the same time. Conflict of interest form. As simple as this document may seem, this document tends to be one of the documents that have been rejected more than anything. Please make sure that when you're filling out this document that the signatures are wet or electronic and in cursive, and that this form is dated. Please do not write up under where it says staff only. It will be rejected. This is also a document that is uploaded on an annual basis. What's acceptable and not acceptable. As you can see, you have your signature. Everything is filled out, and on the right-hand side, they're missing information with the address, and the signatures are not there. The starter work notice. The starter work notice is very important for us to start monitoring the projects. Whenever a contractor or supplier or consultant is working on the project and they started working, we need to make sure that this document is filled out and submitted and uploaded in the LCP tracker as soon as possible. We want to make sure that you fill out all the entries so we'll be able to make sure that this information is entered in B2G Now also correctly. The utilization plan. The utilization plan is a form that will be submitted for all contractors working on the project. The prime contractor most likely will have all their subcontractors working on the project for that month under them. And also, if your subcontractor has a lower tier working up under them, they must also submit a utilization plan for them also. This gives you an idea of the utilization plan for a company that is not self-performing. We expect the company to fill out the top and with their information and their contract amount, and also at the bottom, the subcontractors or the lower tier contractors that will be working for them. Then the utilization plan also we have for the self-performing contractors. You will only need to fill out the top of this form. I advise you, if anyone has started, any company has started working on the project, and you know that this company is going to work every month, I would advise you to just go ahead and create a utilization plan for each month. You know, you only change the month and year unless there's a deviation, unless you've added some contractors under them, and make sure you just upload it on a monthly basis. Next is your subcontract agreements. Your subcontract agreements must show the following. It must have the scope of work, the contract amount, signatures and date of both the prime contractor and subcontractor. For single family homes, remember, you must have a contract for each individual address, and also it's very important that the mediation clause is attached to all contracts. This is what the mediation clause looks like. The mediation clause is a document that the MWSBE contract administrators look for attached with their contracts, and if they are not attached, then the contracts will be rejected. The next form, which is also very important, is your termination of work. Your termination of work notifies us that the contractor is no longer working on the project, so therefore we don't need to monitor or even request for any documents unless the documents have been rejected in the past. And you need to make sure that, you know, all of their documents are uploaded into LCP Tracker, and you need to make sure that all the payments are confirmed and taken care of in B2G Now. Once we receive the termination of work notice, we know that we do not need to monitor that subcontractor. Work on hold notices. MWSBE does not look for work on hold notices. If your project is on hold, we still expect you to upload your monthly utilization plan. For single-family prime contractor requirements, you must submit an executed contract along with the cover sheet, utilization plan, start of work notice, and termination of work notice for every address. So on each one of those forms, they should have the separate addresses. And also the contractor, including lower tier subcontractors, suppliers, consulting firms, etc., are required to submit a monthly UP on every address. But when it comes to your annual documents, you will only need to upload your annual documents once per contractor, not per address, per contractor. This is just an example of what it looks like for address. These are the forms that we expect for each address: the compliance cover sheet, your start of work, your utilization plans, your contract, and your termination of work. Next, we're going to go into your deviation request. Your deviation request requirements. For the deviation, you only need to submit a deviation request if you are adding and or removing a MWSBE that you are using for goal requirement on the project. It is very important that you do this as soon as you know that MWSBE will not be working on that project. We want to make sure before you submit a deviation that you take every avenue to work out the differences. If that's the case, you must submit who, what, when, and why on your letterhead. And also when you're removing the firm, we also expect to see documentation that you have reached out to the company and they have either respond or they have not respond. We need to have what we would call good faith effort. We also need to make sure when it comes to replacing the MWSBE, you must also replace the MWSBE with a certified firm. A non-certified firm is not accepted. Ongoing monitoring. Random site visits will be conducted to monitor project activities. We have compliant documents that will be compared with information gathered on what we call the CSR. We have documents submitted for reporting and monitoring purposes by all contractors will be reviewed for accuracy and compliance with requirements. The prime contractor will be notified if any identified items are non-compliant. So that's why we want to make sure that the prime contractor reviews all documents before uploaded in the LCP tracker, because we will not notify the subcontractor of any mistakes, any rejections. We will notify the prime contractor. This is an example of the compliance status report. As you can see, everything that's in red is what we require for you to get into LCP tracker to become compliant. We take all of the documents that are uploaded in the LCP tracker. As you see, we have the contract, we have the date it's executed, we notify you that we've received your cover sheet, your clearance form, your SAMs, everything is on this form. So if you have any questions about any non-compliant documents that are needed, I advise you to look at this form and you'll be able to know what forms you need to upload in the LCP tracker. Commercially useful functions. When we are out on the job sites, we conduct the commercially useful functions. We will ask on an MWSBE subcontractor working on the project. We want to ask one of the workers questions in regards to the scope of work that they're performing to make sure that it's under the NAICS codes, a scope of work that has been entered into the system. We want to make sure that you're performing the job. The company itself is performing the job and there are no other companies doing the job for them. So this is very important. And also we request that you notify anyone that is an MWSBE company to just be aware that we might be there on site and might ask some questions, so they will just be prepared. Contractor performance. These are red flags for us. The prime contractor fails to meet the MWBE goal requirements and doesn't demonstrate good faith efforts. Throughout the duration of the project, if the contractor does not seem like they're going to meet the goal, we will send a not meeting the goal letter, and we expect a response probably within 10 days on how you plan on meeting a goal. And also, that's when we will request a utilization schedule from the prime contractor showing us when you're going to utilize the WBEs and how you plan on meeting that goal. The prime contractor fails to submit required documents. As I said, the CSR lets you know in red what documents are required. The prime contractor fails to review and/or submit accurate compliance documents. As advised, we expect the prime contractor to review all documents before they are uploaded. And we also want to make sure that the prime contractor reaches out to the subcontractor if there are any discrepancies in B2G now. Also, the prime contractor, after 5 days of being paid by the City of Houston, we expect payments to show up for your subcontractors in B2G now. If the prime contractor fails to submit a deviation request to remove gold credit firms, that's a big red flag. We want to make sure that you reach that goal and that you find somebody to replace that gold credit firm. The prime contractor fails to comply with program requirements. Substantial noncompliance. Well, once we see that you're not complying and you're not responding, we will just simply put your payments on hold. We, on a monthly basis, if need be, we review all of our documents and we send notice if you are compliant. If you're not compliant and you're not showing good faith effort, we will request that payment be withheld. Also, you can be terminated off the contract, and also suspension, debarment, or limited denial of participation. And then close out and project activities. This screenshot shows payments that are made to your subcontractors. And as you notice in red, it shows that over $309,000 of payments are not confirmed in the B2G now. This will stop us from approving your retainage payment near closing of the project. You will not receive your last check. We need to make sure that all payments have been received and are up to date in the B2G now. And simply, we cannot close the project if there are any red or any discrepancies in B2G now. Project closeout evaluation. The closeout evaluation consists of evaluating the prime contractor's goal in compliance with program requirements. As I said, each goal is to be reached individually. You will be graded on if you meet or exceed the goals. Subcontractors' performance may also impact evaluation ratings of the prime contractor. This is a screenshot of resource links that you might want to take an opportunity to look at. We have the federal procurement. We also have Article 15, Chapter 15, Article 5 for the City of Houston Code of Ordinances. And also, which is very important for the prime contractor, is to look and view good faith efforts policy. Does anyone have any questions? To thank you for participating in the MWSBE virtual training. I hope the information was beneficial to you.